Thank you all for joining this webinar on Zoho Contracts, the contract lifecycle management software from Zoho. So I'm Helena and I'm a product marketer with Zoho Contracts. And in today's demo, I'm all excited to show how Zoho Contracts is going to help you streamline your contract management. So first, we are going to see what is a contract management software, why we decided to develop something called Zoho Contracts, what is our vision in this space, how we approach it, and how Zoho Contract is going to help you streamline the entire contract management. And finally, I shall conclude with a Q&A session. If you are a Zoho One customer, then we have Zoho Contracts included in Zoho One, so you can right away go and explore the product. And if you are a Zoho CRM customer, then we have a working integration with Zoho Contracts, so you can really explore it. And in today's demo, I'm also going to touch upon it. I'm going to show how the working model is and all. So you can also enable the integration, and you can also start using it for your sales contract management. And if you're not in Zoho One or CRM, we have a lot of integrations coming up, and we also have open APIs which you can use to build upon your specific requirement as well. So that's it. So now let's get started with our demo. So what is Zoho Contracts? Now, even before explaining like what is Zoho Contracts, I would like to give a quick brief about what is a contract management software. So it is a digital tool or a software that will help you to manage all the contract lifecycle stages, be it from authoring to execution and post execution. And it will help you to address various other aspects of contract management. And Zoho Contracts is a CLM tool from Zoho. And these any typical contract undergoes a lot of stages, right from a contract creation request to authoring, approval, followed by negotiation, execution, all the way to renewals and extension. Now all of these contract lifecycle stages can be streamlined and automated using a CLM tool. Apart from this, we also have analytical and governing capabilities that will help you improve compliance and governance. And why we decided to develop a contract management software? So we've seen a contract involves a lot of stages, and CLM tool is one that is going to help you streamline the entire contract management. And why we decided to develop a CLM tool? There are multiple reasons at various levels. The very first and foremost reason that we wanted to really come up with a one-stop solution is that in the absence of a CLM system, businesses tend to toggle between multiple applications to handle each of the contract lifecycle management stage. Say, for example, they make use of a word processor for authoring a contract. Now, to get it internally approved or to send it to their counterparty contacts for negotiation, they make use of an email application. And to get them executed or digitally signed, they rely on a third party e-signature software. Now all of these metadata is being stored with the help of a spreadsheet. And when they handle a lot of contracts, when the volume of contract increases, definitely they make use of a document management software to store all their contracts in single place and to manage them. And then a calendar to keep track of all important milestones, be it with renewals or obligation fulfillment. So business tend to toggle between an average of 8 applications to manage all of these contract lifecycle management stages, and we wanted to step in and come up with a one-stop solution that eliminates the toggling and provides a single space where you can comprehensively address all aspects of contract management. And then next reason is the problems that is associated with the traditional approaches, be it long contract cycle time, high operational cost, and the challenges that is involved in manual contract management process or paper-based contract management process. So first thing is toggling between multiple applications, then the problems with the traditional approaches, and the third are the recent factors that are driving adoption towards contract management process or contract management software. So recently, there are many factors that are driving businesses to adopt a CLM solution into their tech stack. And I have listed a few of the trending factors over here. The very first factor, I will explain the factors according to the numbering. So the very first factor is complex supply chain environment. So this is with the technology evolving rapidly and geopolitical tensions causing complex supply chain environment. Businesses are looking for an agile CLM system to handle such volatile environments. And second is with the frequent regulations. So regulations are being cropping up more often than ever before, and to handle such regulations internally or some government regulations, businesses need a CLM solution that helps them to do a quick impact study. Say how many of their existing contracts are going to get impacted because of this regulation that is going to come up. So an impact study, and to implement all the changes, a CLM solution will be definitely helpful. And third is the diverse sales models. That is, today's business landscape is being very competitive, and most businesses are offering a flexible sales and pricing model. And to accommodate to that level of flexibility, we need an agile system in place. And the fourth factor is risk. So risk is inevitable in any business, and with the recent pandemic, the emphasis on risk mitigation is at all time high, and contract management is a critical piece part of risk mitigation. And the last factor is with the latest trend of consolidation. That is, when two companies decide to collaborate and come together, they would require a forensic analysis of all their existing contracts to understand where they stand from a compliance standpoint or from a revenue standpoint. And these are some of the recent factors why businesses are marching towards adopting a contract management software within their tech stack. And this is why we decided to step in and come up with a contract management software. And our vision was to not just provide yet another platform that just improves legal operational efficiency. We wanted Zoho Contracts to be a platform that includes futuristic CLM capabilities and remains easy to access. So, our approach in achieving that was to firstly streamline the entire contract lifecycle, as we saw earlier, right from authoring to execution and post execution, by automating whatever could be automated. And with the emphasis on risk and compliance being at all time high, we wanted Zoho Contracts to include features that helps to mitigate business risk and improve governance. And we have kickstarted cross-functional collaborations as well. So right now we have an integration with Zoho CRM and Zoho Contracts. So I'll touch upon the last aspect, and even before that, these four aspects are going to be the uh, perspective or the angle in which we will be addressing our product demo today. So we will see a product demo, how the CRM and contracts integration is working, how it help you improve governance and then mitigate business risk and streamline the entire contract lifecycle management. So promoting cross-functional collaboration. So now any successful deal closure is marked by signing a contract, and how fast you recognize your revenue depends upon the efficiency of your sales cycle, and contract management is a critical part of it. So it is very clear the efficiency of your sales contract management directly impacts your revenue. And the reasons for longer sales contract cycle is that one is the multiple email threads that get started right from contract request from the salesperson to all negotiation, approval, and all the other stages of contract management. And then the lack of central templates library, where salespeople will not be able to access a pre-approved contract template, latest version of a contract template for authoring. And then the negotiation challenges. So when there are multiple negotiation cycles happening, say for example 5 cycles, a particular contract is undergoing 5 negotiation cycles, and if you want to compare the very first document version with the latest version, if there is no CLM in space, then it is definitely going to be a challenge, which is going to be very time consuming and a lot of hard work involved. And then the switching between multiple applications. So all of them lead to longer sales contract life cycle, and which in turn impacts the deal closure. So, our strategy with CRM and CLM integration is that platform itself is going to automate the entire CLM process. So, you will be able to promote faster sales contract cycles. And then with seamless digital e signatures that has been helpful for easy onboarding and the online negotiation capability of Zoho Contracts. You'll be able to provide an enhanced buyer experience. And most importantly, the CRM and CLM integration will eliminate information silos between sales and legal. So, with this integration, salespeople can initiate a new contract request directly from deal or potential record in Zoho CRM. And to the question like who can enable this integration, account owner of Zoho Contracts, who is an admin in Zoho CRM, can enable the integration. So once the installation process is done, you can configure the settings. And during this, there is an interesting part over here. You can map all the related fields from CRM to contracts. That is, be it the counterparty type, the department, and the name, address details, and the contact details. So you can map all of the whatever details you want from CRM to be automatically mapped to contracts. You can map them here, and also you can choose the contract types that you will be dealing on day to day basis from here. And you can also map the fields right away. So when you're done with the initial settings and you mark it as save, a request contract button will get enabled in the deals module of Zoho CRM. So with this, salespeople will be able to directly raise a contract request even without moving out of the platform. So when they click on request contract, you'll be directed to a form like this where you can select a contract type that you would like to request, enter the details, and if you see here, all these details are already filled in. This is because of the mapping that is done. So you can select the effective date. Based on the agreement you are about to enter, you can enter the details and click on send. Now a contract document will get automatically generated. Either you can send the contract document right away as an email attachment, or you can manage them within the CRM and then proceed. So say for example, all the contract documents that is generated from this module will be present in this attachment section. So you can have a look over here. And now if you want to manage the contract lifecycle management stages for that particular contract, say for example, if you want to send this approved contract for negotiation or this negotiated contract for signature, we have an option over there. So you can click and you can request for negotiation, request to send for negotiation. You have an option here to request to send it for signature. So you can manage all of the contract lifecycle stages right from CRM itself. So not just requesting a contract, it is also post to that we have an option to manage their entire contract life cycle. So this is how the Zoho CRM and Zoho contracts integration will help salespeople to focus more on their sales related tasks. It will save a lot of time and it will also help them to speed up their deal closure. So moving back to whatever strategy we were talking about, so you'll be able to see faster sales contract cycle time, enhance buyer experience, and eliminate the information silos between sales and legal. So as I mentioned, it will help you to improve contract cycle times, reduce operational cost, and minimize revenue leakage. And then moving on to the next aspect of improving governance. So, as I mentioned earlier, regulations are cropping up more often than ever before. And to implement such regulations, we need to do an impact study. And we will now see how Zoho Contracts is going to help you to do that. So, firstly, with an impact study, we have a clause based report that immediately gives you how many of your existing contracts use a particular clause language. And then if your counterparties are raising a request to anonymize or to hide their personal information due to a regulation coming up, or if you want to comply with some GDPR or CCPA regulation, then there is a data protection settings available in Zoho Contracts. And also to conduct regular audits, we have a central audit system. So without any further delay, I'll just quickly take you to the product screen again and show how all these aspects look. So first is the clause-based reports. So we have 35 plus standard reports. It is not just this clause-based reports. We have reports for various other aspects of contract management as well. Here I would like to touch upon the clause based reports because it comes in very handy when there is a organization wide policy change or any government regulation comes up. So if you want to check how many of your existing contracts use this particular clause language of termination, you'll be able to get an overall number, and also on clicking that you'll be able to view all the contracts that are actually using that particular clause. So this will help you to do an impact study and implement all the changes. So as I mentioned, we have various other reports for various other aspects of contract management as well. You will be able to track how many contracts are pending at what stage, the performance reports, like what are the top contracts with long negotiation cycle. So all of this granular details will be present in the analytics and reports. So you'll be able to glean a lot of insights and plan strategies around it. And moving on to the governing capabilities, we will start with activity tracking at user level. So in this admin module, when you click on users and you select any user, you'll be able to find all their activities in chronological order along with their timestamp. So this activity tracking is not only present at an user level, even at a contract level. You'll be able to find all the activities performed even at a contract level. So when you click on any contract and you choose activity section over there, you'll be able to find all the activities performed for that particular contract. So activity tracking is present at a user level, contract level. Apart from this, there is something called activity logs. So this activity logs acts as a central audit system. That is, it keeps track of all the activities performed by the admin and who is accessing the CLM system and from where. That is with the help of user access logs, you'll be able to know that. And the download logs, so all the downloads that is happening from the CLM system or the account will be tracked in this download logs. So all of this will help you to conduct regular audits to stay compliant with regulation and improve governance. So the activity tracking at multiple levels and the central audit system will help you achieve it. And as I mentioned, if your counterparties come in requesting saying that a contract uh, holds a lot of personal information, and if they want to anonymize it or if they want to hide their details, we can achieve it by enabling this data protection settings in Zoho Contracts. You can select the personal data that they would like to hide, and that will get anonymized in all places throughout the system. And also you can, the admins have an option to restrict non-admins from exporting the counterparty contact details. So this is with the data protection angle. So we have covered how Zoho CRM and how Zoho Contracts integration works, and how Zoho Contracts helps in terms of doing an impact study with frequent regulations and improving governance and compliance as well. So we have seen that with our analytical and governing capability of Zoho Contracts. Now we'll move on to the streamlining the entire contract lifecycle from authoring, execution to post execution. I'll quickly show how Zoho Contract automates the entire thing and streamlines it. So the screen that you are looking is the homepage of Zoho Contracts. So this is a personalized dashboard that gives a bird's eye view of all the happenings across your business contracts. And towards the right, you'll be able to find a calendar that keeps track of all your upcoming events and deadlines. And this contracts module here is a central uh, repository that holds all your contracts in a single place. So this brings in better visibility. And with this advanced search and filter option, you will be able to access critical contract information whenever required. And when it comes to drafting a contract, which is the very first stage of the contract lifecycle, Zoho Contract provides you with two options. Either you can import your existing contracts, it can be in any state, draft, signed and active, even expired contracts. You can import them and you can manage the rest of the contract lifecycle within Zoho Contracts. Or you can start creating your contract or authoring your contract right from scratch. So you can click on new contract, select the contract type that you want, click on continue, enter the details based on the agreement you are about to enter. And at this point, you can also mention if the contract is going to be a renewable contract or non-renewable contract, who is going to be the counterparty, who is going to be the primary contact from the counterparty. So you can mention all of these details based on the deal, and you can click on save and continue. Now a contract document will get automatically generated based on the contract type that you have selected. So now if the contract owner wants to remove any particular clause and wants to add a particular clause language, they can make use of this document editor panel, where this clauses tab will list all the clauses available for this particular contract type. By simply unselecting any of the clause, you can easily remove that from the contract document, and we can also switch between alternate languages under each clause. So, and at the time of authoring, if you are unaware of any field value, you can include your peers. You can invite them with specific permissions like fill fields only, and you can also co author your contract document. So, yes. And with Zoho Contracts powered by Zoho Writer, the contract author here will be provided with a full blown, like a formatting option that a full blown word processor provides. So, once you're done drafting a contract document, you can mark it as draft complete. Now, the contract document is good to go for approval. So, you can have an approval workflow configured with a contract type. So, having an approval workflow opens up an early opportunity for internal stakeholders to stay aware of all the risks and opportunity present in the particular contract document. So, when you submit this particular contract document for approval, you'll be able to see who are the approvers and what is the approval workflow like. So here it is a parallel approval workflow. You can also create sequential approval workflow multi-level at multi levels. So both parallel and sequential approval workflow is possible in Zoho Contracts. So now, as you see, Anna Hella and Jack Smith are approvers. In a scenario where like the approvers are not yet approved, I'll quickly show how an approver can approve the contract document and how it looks for them. So I've come to Jack Smith profile. So as an approver, he'll be able to view all the contract document details, can review it, select any contractual term and add comments to it. He can set visibility for those comments as well. So everyone, my organization member, so you can set visibility and approve the contract document. And also at the time of approval, you can add a message and then approve. So once a contract document is approved, you can go for negotiation. Like, so we've seen how an approver can approve a contract document. So when both the approvers have approved the contract document, we can move for negotiation. And to address multiple challenges of negotiations at multiple levels, Zoho Contracts has initially enabled a password protected sharing. That is, when you share this contract document with your counterparties, you can protect this with the password, and you can click on send. And parallelly, the contract counterparties will be receiving an email as such with a link to review the contract document. And the counterparty contacts do not need a Zoho Contracts account to participate in the negotiation process. So this is very important. So the counterparties, your clients, your customers do not need a Zoho Contracts account to participate in negotiation or to sign the contract document. They will be receiving an email with the link. They'll have to enter the password with which we have protected that, and they can view. Now they can perform whatever review and suggestions they want to do for this particular contract document. They can delete any contractual term. They can select any contractual term and add comments to it, set visibility for those comments, and all of this will be highlighted with a redlining capability. The counterparty contacts will not be able to make any direct changes, but they will be able to suggest all changes. Later, the contract owner can accept or reject the changes, reply and resolve to the comments that they have made. At the time of completion, they also can show their readiness for proceed for, with the help of proceed for signing. Say, for example, if the contract counterparty feels that the contract document is good to go for signature, it doesn't have any changes to be done, they can enable this and show their readiness, or else they can just confirm and send. Parallelly, when the counterparties are performing this negotiation process and they are reviewing the contract document, the contract owner here will be receiving a review summary, which that gives a summary of what's happened during the negotiation process. So number of changes performed, number of comments included, and what's the status for proceed with signing, like. So all of this will be present in this review summary. So this will give an idea like what happened during the negotiation process for the contract owner. Now, the contract owner can either accept or reject the changes, as I mentioned, and negotiate the contract. So, when there are multiple negotiation cycles similarly happening, Zoho Contract provides an option called View Previous Cycle, with which you will be able to view all the previous cycles of this contract document. So, you'll be able to, along with the review summary and the document version, got involved in that particular negotiation cycle. A similar option is available for the counterparties as well. So when you are sending a contract document over email multiple times, the main challenge there is you will not be able to compare the changes that happened during the very first document negotiation cycle with the latest one. But with this option, you will be able to easily compare the latest contract document version with any of the previous cycle version. A similar, as I showed here, there's an option at contract owner and the counterparty both have an option to view all the previous cycle, the document versions, and a review summary along with that timestamp. So this will help to overcome the challenge that has been highlighted in the negotiation process. So once the contract document is negotiated by both the parties, we are good to go to send it for negotiation and get it executed. So when you're sending it for signature, you can include signatories from your organization, from counterparty, and you can also add other representatives such as witnesses for this particular contract document. So, and you can also set signing order. Basically, it's a workflow. So you can configure a signature workflow. So if we have configured, so based on the order that you have set, the signatories will be receiving an email with the link to sign and execute the contract. So when you click on update and send, and with Zoho Contracts powered by Zoho Sign, you will be directly redirected to Zoho Sign. And Zoho Sign and Zoho Writer, it is Zoho Contracts is powered by Zoho Sign and Zoho Writer. So when you purchase a Zoho Contracts, you get them both for free. It is like a bundle. It comes in as a bundle. So you can also use the features of Zoho Sign over there. So here in Zoho Sign, you can easily drag and drop all the placeholders that you require in the contract document. I'll just drag and drop the signature placeholder and show how it works. So you can drag and drop the signature placeholder, select the corresponding recipient, and drag and drop all the required placeholders. So similarly, name, title, date, you can also drag and drop other placeholders that you require in this contract document that you need to fill in during signing, and you can click on send. Now, the contract signatories will receive an email with the link to sign and execute the contract. So this is how easy it is to author, approve, negotiate, and execute a contract within Zoho Contracts. And post to that, once a contract document is active, there are a lot of changes and amendments and all that is going to come. So we have a unique feature for post execution management, which is called letter templates. So this contract letters are available for termination, amendments, extension, and renewals. So this is an editable template. So you can edit according to your requirement. And when you do any changes to an active contract and mark it as draft complete, an amendment letter will get automatically generated based on your customization. And there, the whereas clause will capture the history of the particular contract, where when the parties enter into the agreement, and if there's been any previous amendment, all the history will be captured in the whereas clause. And the now therefore clause will capture all the current changes. So any changes that is being performed during that particular amendment will be present with the now therefore clause. So this eliminates human intervention in document generation, and This is how seamless you can perform your amendments, renewals, extension, and termination. And you can send this letter alone for approval negotiation so that the stakeholders stay aware of all the changes performed during the contract period. And moving on to the last aspect, so we've seen CRM, CLM integration. We've seen how you can improve governance and compliance using Zoho contracts, and how you can streamline the entire contract lifecycle from authoring to execution and post execution. Now we are going to see how Zoho contracts is going to help mitigate business risk. So, though contract templates, approval workflow do help mitigate risk, one of the important risk causing factor is unfulfilled obligation. And to address that, we have an exclusive contextual obligation management section where you can add obligations related to the contract. You can prioritize them. You can assign an obligation owner. You can select a category. You can set reminders. So you can add and you can manage them right within the contract document itself. So as you can see, you can add both task and non-task obligation, and the task obligations can be a one-time task or recurring task as well. So based on the status here, you can either send reminders and manage them. I'll quickly show how it looks for an obligation owner. So Jack Smith is being assigned with a lot of obligations, and either in the dashboard he'll be able to view all the pending obligations here, or you can select this activity module and click on the pending obligation to view all the obligation that is pending from his end. So, and they can click on any obligation and they can mark it as complete, and this status gets automatically reflected for the contract owner. Thus, this granular level of obligation management helps to mitigate business risk to great extent. I hope I was clear throughout the session. And if you have any questions, you can also send us an email at support@zohocontracts.com, and we'll be more than happy to help you. And thank you for taking time and joining the session. Have a nice day.